I'm a VFX supervisor at Iloura. So that means that on any given job, I'm charged with the creative output of the company, and I liaise with the clients, with the studios and the directors, and make sure that what we put out at the end of the day is what they've asked for. We're in a phase like right now where we're just starting up on a whole bunch of stuff, and early on there can be a lot of creative questions that get asked. So like when you're in the middle of a film like Ted and you've got hundreds and hundreds of shots or thousands of shots, and it's just like do the bear, do the bear, do the bear. It can become a process driven sort of thing. But up front, where you have to design what he looks like or design how he moves or work out something, or there's some creative R&D that needs to be done, that's the best stuff. There's very few parts of this process where you aren't in a team. You're in your immediate team, but then you need to work with a team up and downstream from what you're doing. So if you're in lighting, you work with a lighting lead and a sequence lead and the other lighters in your team, but you also need to work with the animators who are providing you the work, and you need to work with the compositors who are getting your work when you're done. So you need to, it's a very collaborative process. So I deal with all the different leaders from the different departments, and we'll go through every single department through the day and review the work and discuss where shots are at. So I'll spend a long time in our theatres with a laser pointer, and we'll be running through shots and discussing them and stopping and looking at things and discussing animation or the quality of the rendering or the quality of the compositing, and discuss what's needed and try to hit our deadlines. Sometimes you work on films and you get a really good creative brief, like they give you a lot of latitude to be creative, and sometimes films, like sometimes almost the bigger the film, the more tightly controlled it is externally, like they'll tell you exactly what they want. Sometimes films say, hey, come up with something cool, we need something here, we need something here, and then we can creatively stretch our legs a little bit, and I like that kind of work. So I really enjoyed working on SpongeBob, bringing him into CG, because that was something that we hadn't been done before, and the characters have been around for 20 years, but only as 2D, so trying to be faithful to that in 3D was really a challenge. We did a job years ago called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, which was a horror film for Guillermo del Toro, who's the director who did Pacific Rim and films like that, and Pan's Labyrinth. That was great because he gave us a lot of creative freedom. And also working with Seth MacFarlane on the Ted films has been great, because we invented Ted here in South Melbourne. I mean, he wrote the script, but we came up with the guy and the bear and helped get that film going, and worked very closely with him. So I think when you work with someone who trusts your creative judgment, who is happy to let you do what you do best, and you have a collaboration, that's always great. Every single shot you ever do, every shot, you could make better if you had more time, more people, more energy, right? So part of my job as a visual effects supervisor is to decide when we're done, as well as, you know, I have to try and get it up to here, but you know you could always go there, or just that tiny bit, you know, maybe if we, and sometimes it's hard to let artists let go of stuff that they want to just keep, you know, and we'll say, no, the deadline dictates that we've got to be finished. So sometimes stuff goes out, you know you could have done a bit better, and you're always pushing to make your work better, of course. What's going to happen with CG, I don't know. My personal pet hate is watching a film that ends up with one CG monster fighting another CG monster. I just go, oh, it's so boring, you know. So what an audience appetite is for that kind of spectacle in filmmaking, I don't know. We do a lot of CG that ends up being transparent. That's just corrections and fixes and changes to things, or changes to location, or set extensions, or changing a summertime shot into a winter shot, or those sorts of things. And I think CG is always going to play a role there to help filmmakers. I don't know. I mean, I always like to think people at the core, I think people will like CG for a while. It was like, there was a period when the big blockbusters happened in the 80s with Jaws and Close Encounters, and films that just became these big monoliths. And I think there was a point where people got sick of the spectacle, and it all went back to smaller films about people and relationships and narrative. And I hope that the CG stuff that's just getting insane now, will quieten down and proper filmmaking takes over again. Because I'm sick to death of it, but I don't know. We'll see.